welcome back to my Anastasia Finance YouTube channel. Today we are diving right back into the basics of finance with chapter 2.2 from my Financial Freedom Fundamentals, Savings and Wealth Building Formulas. In this video we are going over habit 4 from the 10 Financial Health Habits formula. And without further ado, let's get into it. Financial Freedom Fundamentals Level 2 Savings and Wealth Building Formulas. Chapter 2.2 10 Financial Health Habits Formula. Habit 4 Be your wealth guardian. Wealth guardian. Be the guardian of your wealth by firmly protecting your wealth, starting with safeguarding the smallest amounts. You must see yourself as the guardian of your wealth, starting from the smallest amounts. You must see this guardian of wealth role as your duty to not only yourself, but also the lives of the people you will touch in a positive way in the future as a result of your discipline. In a way, you are like a superheroine or a superhero for your wealth building journey. You have to take being the guardian of even the smallest of amounts of wealth seriously, because when you face greater foes of wealth building who seek to steal your treasure, you will have the skills and fitness to defend your wealth. There will be times when your greatest foe is yourself, because circumstances will arrive in your journey that will test you and will hit your weak points. And that's when your inner strength, financial fitness, financial skills of being the guardian of your wealth will kick in like muscle memory to defend you against your former weaknesses from being reactivated and exploited. You must prepare and brace yourself for these circumstances by building your inner strength of financial fitness and financial skills to combat these challenges to come in different chapters of your financial journey of life. Again, take this guardian role seriously and think of every penny you are saving like a superheroine or a superhero, seeing every human life as precious. Your savings, especially the savings you earn, are literally your money that you sacrificed your blood for, that you worked so hard all your life to survive all those hard and almost unbearable days to get to the point of becoming this wealth guardian who protects their precious hard-earned savings and wealth. Do not squander this opportunity you created for yourself and were given by the universe by not listening to this extremely important advice. You must learn to firmly guard and protect your wealth starting from the smallest amounts, because these habits you learn and boundaries you set to protect you will become like muscle memories for you in difficult times that test your strength, fitness, and skills of being a wealth guardian. When you are in debt and without a plan to get out of it, you have not earned your right to start your investing journey outside of investing in your education and in yourself. You need to at least have a plan for getting out of debt and be taking action on that plan in order to earn your right to invest outside of your education and yourself. I have a course that gives you my debt-free formula, and it's level 1 of these courses. It's called Financial Freedom Foundation Level 1 Debt-Free Formula. I highly recommend that course if you have any debt, in order to make sure you have a plan to become debt-free and take effective action on it. I noticed in Western nations, such as the United States in particular, people in debt are celebrated. We celebrate when someone goes into debt for a car. We celebrate when someone goes into debt for a home. We celebrate when someone goes into debt on their credit cards to purchase items or experiences. First off, you don't own these items that you bought with debt. The bank does, and you're leasing it from them. Secondly, debt is not something that used to be celebrated, and it is not necessarily always celebrated in nations that are not in the West. I don't live in a Western nation, and where I live, we don't celebrate debt. I noticed one of my grandmas doesn't like being indebted, and I really love that, and I have adopted that mindset. We are basically people who are repulsed by debt and have a negative reaction to it. My grandma grew up in non-Western nations, and she is an older generation person, which I think is what helped shape her attitude towards debt. In the past, debt was something that was frowned upon, but somehow at some point in the last 100 years, in Western nations especially, being in debt has become something that people were criticized for to something people are now celebrated for. It's important to be compassionate towards yourself for having been conditioned to believe the lie that debt is normal and should be celebrated in order to keep you an indebted servant in the rat race. And at the same time, you must take full responsibility for getting yourself out of debt. You can be a responsible and accountable person without beating yourself up. You can't learn to run before you learn to walk. And you can't learn to walk before you learn to stand. And you can't learn to stand before you learn to crawl. It's the same thing. You have got to learn to crawl first, then to stand, then to walk, then to run. In this case, before you begin investing, you have got to learn to plan to get out of debt. Be actually taking action to get out of debt. Begin paying off your debt and begin your journey as a saver. This course is a more advanced level in which you structure your savings for wealth building and get introduced to your wealth building journey. Do not skip the debt-free formula, as this course is built on top of you having a debt exit strategy and plan that you are taking action on. When you do begin your savings journey, there are many pitfalls you have to avoid, which I will discuss further of how to be prepared. The same is true for your investing journey. However, because this is a course about structuring your savings and starting to build your wealth, I will not be going into the dangers of investing too in depth. This is because I don't want you to be overwhelmed, and I want you to focus on structuring your savings and optimizing yourself and your finances for wealth building and taking action on that plan. Once you begin following the savings and wealth building formula I give you in the coming sections of this course, you're ready for the next step of educating yourself for your investor journey and global citizen journey. Your investor journey can include things like having an independent online income from an online business, for example. Your global citizen journey can include travel, residency abroad, multiple citizenships, just to name a few. In each category of the levels that exist, there are subcategories. Money will multiply when the opportunity presents itself because it is a willing and eager worker for the person who knows how to employ it well. Opportunities will arise for people who have a savings to put their money to profitable use. Again, this money will multiply over time with someone who is well prepared and well equipped in the skills of finance. At that point, you can begin the next levels of my financial freedom courses, which can go in depth into these topics depending on which one. But for now, hyper-focus on the stage you are in, which is structuring your savings and optimizing yourself and your finances for wealth building. Great advice is worth its weight in gold if it saves you from loss. Don't be too confident of your own wisdom. Invest in smart investments wisely and intelligently. At the early stages of where you are, your best investments are in your education and in yourself, such as your mental, emotional, and financial health. Something I also want to touch on here is that lowering your tax is also a way to lower your expenses, because that means you get to keep more of your money. This is something I will dive into deeper and higher levels of financial freedom courses because, again, you are at the fundamentals and we want you to hyper-focus on the stage of taking action to begin structuring your savings and optimizing yourself and your finances for wealth building and financial freedom. Knowing your income versus your expenses is also important in guarding your wealth in order to ensure you are not spending more than you make. If you spend more than you make, you are losing your hard-earned wealth instead of guarding your wealth. Part of one of the most important aspects of your wealth is your health. Without your health, you cannot enjoy the fruits of your labor fully, and you cannot continue to grow and guard your wealth. In fact, without your health, you wouldn't be alive. You must take actions to protect yourself from people, environments, and situations that could jeopardize your health. Because anything or anyone that compromises your health is also compromising your wealth. I will go into this further in an upcoming section. Before I head out, I have to remind you to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Click the bell notification button, turn on all notifications for my YouTube channel, and turn on all notifications on your YouTube app so you do not miss my future videos. I'm so proud of you for taking care of your future financial self through watching these videos. And with that said, I will see you on my next video next week. I love you so much, and I wish you a wonderful day.